No matter what age your child is, you want the best for their future. What do they want to do after graduation? What career path do they want to take? These questions can be overwhelming. That's why you should ask them this question. What's your E? Seminole County Public Schools ePathway program is designed for your student to choose their own path in life from as many options as we can offer. Whether they're looking to enlist, enroll, or be employed, we're excited to help you and your child make it happen. Want them to enroll in a college or university? We'll help you find the best school for them to continue their education. Learn about grants and programs to help your child obtain their degree at a pace and a cost that works for you both. Are they looking to go straight into employment? Discover a variety of trades and skills that will propel their future. They can learn aviation maintenance, automotive repair, culinary arts, and more to hone their talents in growing industries. Is your child interested in enlistment? We'll help them find the right path of service, whether it's military, law enforcement, fire response, or EMS. They can serve the community while learning skills that will last a lifetime. What's your E? Explore options with ePathways by visiting us online at the link below.
Mr. Cortez, he's a bright young man. When I first met him, he was kind of timid, but I've grown to learn more about him, the struggles that he's been through, the transformation that he's been through in the last 5 months is incredible. I'm actually really proud of him and what he's gone through and how he's changing through my program.
I joined JROTC by accident. My guidance counselor suggested it. I didn't want to do it at all, but had to do it. I plan on just joining a semester, and I ended up loving the course, the instructors, every one of my friends that I've made here in JROTC, and my whole high school life is just surrounded basically on JROTC.
Cadet Cortez, like I said earlier, he's a lot like some of the students who come in here. He does have a lot of natural leadership ability. I think ROTC gave him an opportunity to use that in a course, in a class with students of his peers. And because of that, he's had a very good rapport with other students, extremely beneficial. It's a great leadership opportunity for him. It's also a great leadership opportunity for people around him to see how he acts, how he takes care of himself and other people. And the leadership that he does, he gets into a common ground with these students and explains how things should be done. They look at him, they don't look at him as he's any different, they just look like he's doing it better. So he's leading by example, which is a perfect example of what we want for students here in ROTC.
Well, before JROTC, I was kind of bad kid, rebellious, didn't listen to my parents. I didn't want to really be in school. Joining to ROTC, the instructors taught me discipline. They taught me how to be a better version of myself. And throughout the years, I did become a better version of myself. Became more respectful towards elders or peers around me. I became more aware of other people's feelings, as well as how to deal with certain emotions of mine and how to lead overall.
And he started to excel, and he started hanging around with the right group of people who helped him excel. And in the end, he took his natural leadership ability, accentuated it, and became a leader inside the Air Force Junior ROTC program.
So I also wanted to join the Marine Corps because my dad is ill and he has many kids, and I know that it will be a struggle for him to pay for all that college tuition for us, and I just wanted to help him out. So I know that the military helps with schooling, and I just know that I want to make him proud. I want to make him proud that he has an excellent son and that I will succeed. So I think that joining the military and being able to succeed throughout not only military but university as well will be very excellent for myself and for my family.
No matter what age your child is, you want the best for their future. What do they want to do after graduation? What career path do they want to take? These questions can be overwhelming. That's why you should ask them this question. What's your E? Seminole County Public Schools ePathway program is designed for your student to choose their own path in life from as many options as we can offer. Whether they're looking to enlist, enroll, or be employed, we're excited to help you and your child make it happen. Want them to enroll in a college or university? We'll help you find the best school for them to continue their education. Learn about grants and programs to help your child obtain their degree at a pace and a cost that works for you both. Are they looking to go straight into employment? Discover a variety of trades and skills that will propel their future. They can learn aviation maintenance, automotive repair, culinary arts, and more to hone their talents in growing industries. Is your child interested in enlistment? We'll help them find the right path of service, whether it's military, law enforcement, fire response, or EMS. They can serve the community while learning skills that will last a lifetime. What's your E? Explore options with ePathways by visiting us online at the link below.
Mr. Cortez, he's a bright young man. When I first met him, he was kind of timid, but I've grown to learn more about him, the struggles that he's been through, the transformation that he's been through in like the last 5 months is incredible. I'm actually really proud of him and what he's gone through and how he's changing through my program.
I joined JROTC by accident. My guidance counselor suggested it. I didn't want to do it at all, but had to do it. I planned on just joining a semester, and I ended up loving the course, the instructors, every one of my friends that I've made here in JROTC, and my whole high school life is just surrounded basically on JROTC.
Cadet Cortez, like I said earlier, he's a lot like some of the students who come in here. He does have a lot of natural leadership ability. I think ROTC gave him an opportunity to use that in a course, in a class with students of his peers. And because of that, he's had a very good rapport with other students, extremely beneficial. It's a great leadership opportunity for him. It's also a great leadership opportunity for people around him to see how he acts, how he takes care of himself and other people. And the leadership that he does, he gets into a common ground with these students and explains how things should be done. They look at him, they don't look at him as he's any different, they just look like he's doing it better. So he's leading by example, which is a perfect example of what we want for students here in ROTC.
Well, before JROTC, I was kind of bad kid, rebellious, didn't listen to my parents, I didn't want to really be in school. Joining to ROTC, the instructors taught me discipline, they taught me how to be a better version of myself, and throughout the years I did become a better version of myself, became more respectful towards elders or peers around me. I became more aware of other people's feelings, as well as how to deal with certain emotions of mine and how to lead overall.
And he started to excel, and he started hanging around with the right group of people who helped him excel. And in the end, he took his natural leadership ability, accentuated it, and became a leader inside the Air Force Junior ROTC program.
So I also wanted to join the Marine Corps because my dad is ill and he has many kids, and I know that it will be a struggle for him to pay for all that college tuition for us, and I just want to help him out. So I know that the military helps with schooling, and I just know that I want to make him proud. I want to make him proud that he has an excellent son and that I will succeed. So I think that joining the military and being able to succeed throughout not only military but university as well will be very excellent for myself and for my family.
It's okay. Are there more graduates?
I think there's 11.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I call to order the May 9th, 2023 school board meeting. Today's invocation and pledge will be led by Member Davis.
On the beach, days, creating memories with family members, family reunions, parks. But for some of us, we continue to work through the summer. Our students take summer programs. Our students have part-time jobs. Some of them have full-time jobs during the summer. Some of them are already planning for college, and they're going to look at different colleges and taking tours. I know that a lot of our staff, they work all year round, so not only are they cleaning up from the year before, but they're also planning for the next year. And they're going through different things here in this very building. Some of our parents are working, so they're sending some of our students to summer camps. Some of our younger students are getting involved in different events. Some of them are just in daycare, just like they've been throughout the whole year, and they're not really getting a break. Our teachers are the ones that are going to be working hardest during the summer. Our teachers have curriculum, they make plans for activities the following year. They look through their programs to make sure that they don't need any sort of updating. They may be assigned to a new subject or a new classroom, and they're preparing to teach something different the following year, or maybe a different grade level. So they are also teaching during the summer. Some of them are online teaching. Some of them are tutoring. Some of them are doing counseling with students. And all of these activities are taking up your summer just as if you were working throughout the very same school year that you just thought you ended. So I wanted to remind not only the teachers, but all of us, that we need to utilize the summer to regroup ourselves. We need to think about our own mental and physical well-being. We need to consider, as we plan during the school year, we need to plan for time for rest, time where we can just sleep in late, time when we can stay up and hang out with your friends or watch a late movie. We need to plan to read a book. We need to plan to do activities and build our relationships, not only with our partners, with our children, with our family, our friends, our fur or scaly babies. All of those need to be refreshed, and we need time to spend with them and with ourselves. We are so grateful for all of the work that you have all done throughout the year. It is unbelievable when I started here how much is getting done in this school district, not only by teachers and staff, but by parents and the kids themselves. The achievements that they've made throughout the year are unbelievable. But what I want to remind you all is that we cannot do this without you, and we know this. And we are so grateful for all of your dedication and your love, and all of the accomplishments that you've helped our students make. And without that, you know we wouldn't function. So you are the core of this district, all of you. And the fact that you're here today and you're concerned and you're participating shows how much you love our district and you want to make it better. We all want to make it better. But I am so proud of where we are right now. The future can go as high as we want if we just continue to work together. Don't forget, summer, you have to schedule that time. And I had a quote, and I don't know who wrote it, but the quote reads, This summer, you need to find some days when the only tool you need is a pillow. So make that time. Be proud of yourselves, really. I am so proud of each one of you. I can't even hold it in, and there's not really a lot of words to be said. I mean, I feel so emotional about all of you, and really how much you do. I just want to thank you again. Can we all stand for the pledge?
Thank you, Member Davis. That was a very poignant message, especially as we are celebrating Teacher Appreciation Week. Thank you very much. Please let the record reflect that Vice Chair Sanchez, Member Pennick, Member Garrick, Member Davis, Superintendent Beeman, and School Board Attorney Carlene Cole-Palmer, as well as Jill, the Board Clerk, are here. Ms. Moramis, do we have acknowledgements? Okay. Michelle Jones, Seminole County Council of PTA, thank you for being here this evening. Hi, Michelle. Superintendent, do you have any agenda modifications?
Yes, I do. The addendum for a good cause is marked on our electronic agenda by a green flag named addendum item, and I will be pulling 2A, Veteran of the Month recognition, and that veteran will be coming to us in August.
Thank you. Tonight's roll call order, Member Davis, Member Garrick, Vice Chair Sanchez, Member Pennick, and then myself. So school boards, do you have, board members, do you have any agenda modifications? Member Davis?
No.
Thank you. Member Garrick?
No modifications.
Vice Chair Sanchez?
I would like to pull item L on page 53 for separate consideration and discussion under contracts and agreements.
Thank you. Member Pennick?
No, ma'am.
And I have none. Is there a motion to approve the amended agenda outline?
I motion.
Member Garrick, thank you. Is there a second?
I second.
Member Davis, thank you. Is there any discussion? Calling the vote, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign? Motion passes. Superintendent, do we have recognitions this evening?
Yes, we do, and we will get started right out front with our graduation of our Leadership Academy class. And I know that Member Davis will give us high fives from here at the dais. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Chair Kraus. Oh, we'll wait. I'll pause. Okay, we'll try that again. Good evening, Chair Kraus, members of the board, Superintendent Beeman, and guests. My name is Catherine Sternkovich, Communications Officer for Seminole County Public Schools. The Community Leadership Academy is an opportunity for Seminole County residents to get a behind-the-scenes look at the various facets that make our school district run, as well as what it takes to become a premier high-achieving public school district. This year, our members learned about a variety of topics, including operational logistics, district budgeting, school safety, transportation, student services, programs of emphasis, and choice opportunities, as well as what it takes to make the school day happen for over 63,000 students. The engagement of our Community Leadership Academy members signifies their commitment to learning about Seminole County Public Schools and their passion for supporting public education. We are so thankful for the time that these individuals have invested in learning about our district and our schools. as well as the feedback and the wonderful ideas that they provide to us and help us work together to consistently improve this experience. At this time, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce the graduates of our 2022-2023 Community Leadership Academy who were able to join us this evening. When I call your name, you'll go ahead and start at the end of the receiving line with Member Garrick. Grace Acevedo Dobbins. Did I say that right? Maggie Chafin. Kamala Gannison. Verdell Lambert Rice. Faith Lee. Jacqueline Mashburn. Karen Monteleone. Dana Scott. And last but not least, School Board Member Autumn Garrick.
It was such a great opportunity. You know what? It have to be front and center with it. One more can go up front. Yep. Move it in. Okay. I'm on the tall side. She's breaking something.
No one else is allowed to do that, just so you know.
Thank you. Oh boy. Yes, good evening to all, superintendent, board members, community members. I'm here tonight, I'm Tim Bardron, CFO for the district, and one of the wonderful things that we do here is we introduce our new administrators, and tonight we are recognizing Jared Lowe. Jared's been with the district since 2020, but he recently stepped up to the challenge of becoming the budget director for the district. And I promise that will be a challenge. Jared has his wife Amanda with him tonight. And Jared joins us through Fort Myers, Florida Gulf Coast University, and the University of Central Florida. He was working for a major corporation in the Orlando area before we were able to recruit him to Seminole County Public Schools, and now we look forward to a long career with us. Great things are in store for Jared, so thank you. Sure.
Superintendent, do we have a presentation this evening?
Yes, our focus on student achievement will be led by Dr. Wysong, Mr. Jensen, and team, and we're talking about the teaching and learning update.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening, Chair Kraus, board members, Superintendent
Good
Beeman.
evening.
I'm excited tonight to kick off our Focus on Student Achievement panel. And again, this will be an update, couple of topics from the Department of Teaching and Learning. And of course, we have an absolutely world-class leadership team running this department, responsible for K-12 curriculum and instruction. So Mr. Jensen, our Director of Teaching and Learning, is here, along with Ms. Spradling, our Coordinator of K-12 Math and Science, and then Dr. Pisani, our Coordinator of ELA and Social Studies. And so we are each going to take a section of this. We're going to just do 3 updates tonight. There's way more than this going on, but we felt like these were the most important items. First, we're going to do a recap of the 22-23 student festivals and competitions. And board members, thank you, because you attended a lot of these events over many, many Saturdays, and we're going to kind of compress all of that together and highlight and celebrate some students. Of course, all of these events are led by the Department of Teaching and Learning, and some of the specialists who run those events are here in the audience tonight, so we'll recognize them. We also want to thank, especially in light of Teacher Appreciation Week, all of the teacher sponsors who make these events possible. We can sit up here and dream up all the cool events we want, and if faculty sponsors don't step forward to volunteer to take kids to these events, we don't have anything going on. And so thank you to all of our wonderful teachers. And then, of course, since many of these events are evenings and weekends, we have a lot of parents involved, and it's always exciting to be out on a Saturday watching students showcasing their work and competing, and seeing lots of happy parents. We had a recent Saturday, board members, and you'll remember this one, where ePathways ran an internship and employment expo. We had a Rube Goldberg competition, a high school math tournament, and then finished the day with a K-12 strings festival. And that doesn't even include all the athletic contests that were held that Saturday. So that's just an example of the great work that goes on. Then we're going to give you an update on our best summer ever planning work. And again, thank you, Member Davis, for the invocation on summer activities. A lot of people think that school districts shut down for the summer, and that is far, far from the case, especially for this department. But truly, that's a whole team effort. And in particular, our high schools get everything ready early to host teachers for that event. We appreciate all the high school principals who give up their campuses that week, our assistant superintendents, and really every single department is involved in the planning for that event. And then the last update will be something a little newer for you board members, and that is there was a statutory change last legislative session, and so this is the first time we're going through this process. Districts are always required to have a comprehensive evidence-based reading plan, but prior to 2023, the plan was administratively developed and submitted to the Department of Education for approval. The legislature in 2022 changed that process, and so for the first time, school boards around the state will be approving those plans in place of the Department of Education. And so Dr. Pisani is going to give you a very high-level overview today, and then prior to the June 6th meeting, we'll be providing you with the full text of the plan so that you can review it, and then we'll be happy to answer your questions. But again, we want to give you kind of a high-level overview of that tonight. So we're gonna start with the student festivals and competitions, and just a reminder, board members, this is straight out of your strategic plan. Our AAA experience for students, of course, is academics, arts, and athletics, and we end up talking about two of those three in this segment of the presentation. And again, the beliefs and guiding principles are out of the strategic plan that you adopt annually. And I just want to highlight some of the key language here that relates to student, academic, and arts events. Student voice and belonging is valued. This is one of the areas where our students truly get to express themselves and to explore things that they are interested in and be honored for that work, even beyond what they do in the classroom. And then if you jump down three bullets, you'll see the reference to academic play and discovery. And in so many of these events, play and discovery is really at the center. Again, these are voluntary activities that students are choosing to do on their own time, and at all three levels, there are just exceptional opportunities for students. You're going to see clear evidence of lifelong learning and the process of becoming a productive citizen when Mr. Jensen highlights these events. And then, of course, there are key skill sets being built in these activities: collaboration, problem solving, communication, teamwork. And those are things that our employers locally and regionally talk to us about in terms of skill sets that they want high school graduates to have. So many of these events that Mr. Jensen's going to highlight for you are directly aligned to the core beliefs that you've established for the district. So we thank you for supporting these efforts.
So in Seminole County, we really have an exceptional visual arts program, K through 12. Thousands of our students participate in the visual arts every year. We really move from kind of exploration and play in the early grades, and then as students kind of move into high school, middle school and high school, they really have a chance to kind of focus and concentrate through programs like our AP art classes and other opportunities to hone and refine and specialize in the visual art of their choice. What you see on the screen are 4 of our visual arts events, but really there are so many that we couldn't possibly fit them on slides for this presentation, because our students exhibit all throughout the community. So of course we participate in things like the Lake Mary Heathrow Festival of the Arts. We exhibit at the Orlando Museum of Arts. We usually participate in Great Day of the Country, but that was canceled this year for a hurricane. And our students just have their art all throughout the community. So these are 4 of the different art shows and competitions. One that I'd like to point out in particular is the Congressional Art Contest, which is a really wonderful event. And this year, 2 of our Seminole County students finished 1st and 2nd place in that competition. And both are having their art exhibited in Washington, D.C. And the top-ranked student actually won a trip for him and a parent to travel to Washington, D.C. and tour the Capitol with our congressman. So a really just wonderful opportunity for our students. And again, thousands and thousands of students participate in all of these art shows and festivals throughout our community. We also have an exceptional commitment to the performing arts in Seminole County Public Schools, with many, many thousands of students participating in a huge number of these events going on. Again, many district organized events like the one you see represented on this slide for the fall, but also many more school-based ones that our teachers, pour themselves into and represent, and they even, sponsor these district ones as well. So it's really, our students have access to such an incredible constellation of performing arts opportunities in Seminole County. The top one, the 5th grade Orlando Philharmonic Orchestra Young People's Concert, was a really wonderful event this year. All 4,500 of our 5th grade students had the opportunity to attend that concert, and it was really lovely. Our Dee Dee Schaffner SCPS Marching Festival, 1,500 of our high school band students participate in that. And again, it's just a fabulous series of events throughout the fall. And then in the spring, we have massive events as well. The Elementary Music Festival is one of my favorites. I really love attending that, seeing hundreds of our elementary students who have practiced these pieces together on different instruments, all coming together and playing in unison. It's really something magical, as is String Day. Seeing our elementary students on strings, our middle school students, our high school students, and then ending it with them all playing together is really just, it's a really uplifting and positive event, I think, for our students and families. And so to kind of talk through our math, science, ELA, and social studies events, I'm going to hand it over to Ms. Bradling and Dr. Pisani.
Hey, good evening. I'm going to highlight 4 events in STEM that have occurred recently. First, starting with our Science, Math, and Engineering Fair, our regional competition, and it's held the first Saturday of February every year. This year we were able to move it to Crooms Academy of Technology and received a lot of great feedback from that move. We have students who compete from middle and high school, but we also featured this year about 60 projects from our 5th graders as an exhibition. And that was really incredible because those students are rising science fair participants, as they move into secondary schools. So in total, more than 200 students did participate. Our awards followed the next week, and we had 30 students who were able to go to the state level. And 3 of those projects also are going to go to International Science Fair, which will be held next week in Dallas. On the screen, you see at the top, you see a student from Crooms. His name is Kevin Perez. He won first place in the state for math, so, And then we also have below him our students who attended the state science fair, so a mix of our middle and high school students. And then at the bottom, you see a photo from our regional fair at Crooms this past February. Our students are getting ready for ISEF. They're working with Mrs. Novella, who's in the audience, and their school sponsors, their school coaches, and it's a wonderful event. I was able to attend last year. It's fantastic. Okay, and then in addition, that day we also were able to have STEM activities offered for families to engage in, as well as a visit from all 3 of our physics buses, which was pretty incredible. So a nice community event overall. In early April, we had a Rube Goldberg competition, and that was held at South Seminole Academy for our students in grades 4 to 8. And a Rube Goldberg, you can see the definition there on the screen. It's an engineering challenge to deliberately over-engineer a machine to perform a simple task, in a complex fashion. So if you remember those Staples easy buttons from the commercials a few years ago, that was the task this year, and it was actually quite challenging, but our students did a really great job. We had students who won at both the elementary and middle school level. One thing I want to say too about both the Regional Science Fair and Rube Goldberg is we're able to make a lot of partnerships with judges. Our judges come from the local community. They might come from local colleges, but it's a really great community partnership that our science team has with experts in the area, and it's just kind of very, it's very wonderful to see how many experts we have in the Central Florida area in STEM. So, yeah, and the humanities as well. So going over to math, the same day as Rube Goldberg, actually, as Dr. Wysong shared, we also had a high school math contest, and that was done in partnership with Seminole State College annually. We have students competing from geometry all the way up to Calculus BC. In addition, there is a scholarship competition, and this year we had a student from Haggerty who was able to win. You can see him in that the second photo down. And he was able to win a scholarship that pays $1,000 for the first 2 semesters of his college experience next year, and it's a wonderful opportunity that Seminole State provides for us. In some of the other photos, you see some of the school teams. That photo at the top is from the awards ceremony. Really, really great stuff, and our sponsors in high school are really wonderful for what they do with those students. Last but not least, at the end of April, was the elementary and middle school math festival. This was the first in-person math festival we've been able to have since 2019 because the other one was scheduled for March 2020. And it was also the first time we were able to bring elementary and middle school together. I think that was really infectious. The award ceremony was the best part of the day. You would have thought it was a sporting event, not a math competition. So we had nearly 500 students attend and compete that day. Individually, they competed as teams. They did a physics challenge where they had to make boats that could hold pennies without sinking. Really wonderful, and we were also able to repeat those STEM activities for families and have a physics bus that was able to come too. It was a really wonderful chance to have that opportunity back. All right, I'm going to pass to Dr. Pisani for our humanities festivals.
The first tournament that I'm going to highlight is our academic tournament, which was actually held over a course of a month this spring from January to February. And with that tournament, it's really that cross-curricular experience where each of our high schools has a team that comes together, and their goal is to quickly and accurately answer questions on a variety of topics, whether it be from physics to art history to literature to math. And at the conclusion of that tournament, we have an all-star team that then is picked to represent Seminole County at the Commissioner's Academic Challenge. And this year we were pleased to be able to say that our team placed third in the state with that. And if you've ever been able to attend, I know many of you have, some of these challenges when they meet each week, you know, they have strict rules as not have your phone out. So we had to kind of piece together some pictures in between competition in order to keep with that. The next thing that we're going to highlight is our history fair, which was held on March 8th of this year at Jackson Heights. And most of our participants in this are from middle school. And they come together to showcase their exhibitions in a variety of ways. There's performances, there are exhibits themselves, documentaries, and even papers that students present. And each year has a theme. This year's theme was Frontiers in History, People, Places, and Ideas. And then from there, we have winners that are able to participate in the state competition, which was just this week, so probably we have people coming home as we speak. And we're pleased to say that we had 30 students attend that, 9 received awards, and 3 of them are advancing to national competition with that. In addition, in April, we had Read to Lead and Battle of the Books, and this is a day that we held here at the Educational Support Center, really to promote literacy at our middle school level. The students that participate in this have had the opportunity to read their Sunshine State books, and then they come together and they answer questions, and we have wonderful school sponsors that help us in organizing those questions, and it's another event that's really great to attend and see kids so excited about reading and answering questions. And at the end of the tournament, they receive medals and trophies in celebration of their efforts and accomplishments with literacy.
So like Dr. Weissong said, all of our teachers who cultivate teams and coach students, they all go way above their stated job responsibilities in order to make these magical experiences happen for students. And we have these teachers across all of our schools, and all of the events that happen both at schools and at the district level happen because of them. We also have a team at the district of teachers on assignment who are positioned here in our department, who in addition to developing the curriculum and providing professional development and doing school support, are also authoring some of these and helping to coordinate these district experiences for our students. And so we do have some in the audience today, so I'd like to invite them to kind of stand up if you would and be recognized. We have Marty Ladd here from our social studies team. We have April Barnes, Christy Seitz, and Rachel Novella here from our science team. And they really do view this as a passion project. They invest so much of their time beyond their normal work hours to coordinate these events, and I think the results speak for themselves, because every time I go to one of these events, I feel uplifted, I feel excited about learning, and I just love Seminole County more and more because of the enthusiasm from our students and parents and teachers there. So again, thank you for supporting these events, and thank you for supporting us and making them happen. The next part of our update for you will be about our Best Summer Ever planning. Last year was the inaugural year of the Best Summer Ever as we transitioned our instructional materials and our standards in ELA and mathematics over to the best standards. And in doing so, we felt like our teachers needed time to collaboratively plan with their professional learning communities at their schools. And so we had an event that lasted a week before pre-plan that teachers could voluntarily register for, and those teachers, we had an enormous response from them. We had 3,000 teachers participate in that summer professional development event, and it was a chance for them to engage with their new materials, engage with their new standards, be coached by content area experts at the district level and at their school. Each school had a facilitator, and really, I think, hit the ground running. And I think it's one of the reasons why we were so successful with this standards transition this year. So we're gonna do it again because I think it was so successful and we've had such positive feedback. This year, we're going to be holding the Best Summer Ever from July 25th to July 27th. Again, 3 days the week before pre-plan begins. And we're going to be including time for teachers and their PLCs, again, to meet together. So they'll be grouped by school and rooms with other schools where they can share across schools and share best practices. And they'll be engaging in professional learning. So we'll have some training for them on standards, their framework, the instructional materials. They'll have them with them, able to use them for that planning. We'll be doing some coordinated training across all schools on integrated engagement strategies. So how do we get all students reading and writing and interacting every day in the classroom? And then also, again, that dedicated planning time so that teachers feel like they have the time they need to hit the ground running to start the school year. And for the teachers who attend and the teachers who are unable to attend because of conflicts or other responsibilities, we'll capture all of this online and publish it and make it available to schools so that all teachers can access it throughout the year, the professional learning content, and schools can use it on their campuses however they see fit. We opened registration on May 2nd, and 1,100 teachers registered on the first day. And we're continuing to have those numbers roll in. We'll keep reminding schools and teachers over the next few weeks as we move towards the end of the school year. We're going to have 6 host high schools, and like Dr. Weissong said, we're very appreciative of these high schools because they go to a tremendous effort to make this happen, to prepare their facility to host all these teachers. But Lake Mary will be hosting our K through 2nd teachers. Lyman will have our 3rd and 5th grade teachers there. Winter Springs will have our middle school teachers. Haggerty will have our high school teachers. We'll have a lot of our kind of special elective areas across the district at Seminole's main campus. And then the Seminole 9th Grade Center will be hosting all of our kinds of teachers and other roles associated with student support services. So we're very excited about teachers' opportunities to collaborate across schools and in their content areas at this event for the summer. Finally, to wrap today up, we have prepared that update that Dr. Weissong mentioned about our K through 12 comprehensive evidence-based reading plan. And so for this, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Pisani, who really, as our resident literacy expert, spearheads the development of this plan every year and coordinates with schools on all the feedback mechanisms that go into revising it every year as well.
Thank you. And with that, I kind of wanted to start out with some of the resources that our team has had at our disposal as we make the standards transition to kind of level set, and then in turn to turnkey to our teachers, our administrators, and coaches, and so on. So we've had state regional literacy directors who've worked with us, and this slide here is kind of like the anchor for when they talk to us about really what we should think about when we think about reading. It's called Scarsborough's Rope. It's been around since 2001, and with it, down there at the bottom, you'll see that they have those foundational skills of phonological awareness, the phonics, and the sight word recognition, and all those pieces, are like we said, are the foundation of reading. But they aren't to be done in isolation. So up above them there, you have your language comprehension strands that really, they work in conjunction with one another. And as we've gone through and learned about the science of reading and from the state and how to really focus in on things, it is, you know, having those foundational skills at a young age in our younger grade levels, but also, you know, building with those students those language comprehension at the same time. And then with the best standards in 2021, as we made that transition for our secondary students, it's also taking a look and to see if they don't have those foundational standards, going and making sure that we're providing interventions that still address those for them. So that's kind of like an anchor. And the various interventions that we have meet this criteria because we have partnered with Just Read Florida in order to seek their approval for these interventions, and they're usually found on What's Works Clearinghouse, Evidence for ESSA, and the FCRR site, which is out of FSU, as being those key places to look at for where we are going to find those evidence-based interventions. So as Dr. Wysong said before, each year we do have our evidence-based reading plan that we go ahead and update. And as part of those updates and obligations that we have responsibilities for administrators, both at the school and the district level, that we're taking a look at, as well as professional development, assessments, curriculum, and then the instructional methods that we're using. And all of those are in order to help better our students in those best standards which they are learning each day. Some of our recent revisions from this past year, so they're brand new for this year, would include the fact that we have a template that we're able to use, but this year we can make some modifications as we see fit. And as Dr. Wysong said before, this year we have a step where the school board approves prior to submission to the state. The definition and roles and responsibilities of literacy coach is another update. As we take a look at it, it really has more of an integration between reading and English language arts than we've seen in the past. So it's really tasking our school coaches with being the literacy experts of their schools. And then identifying students with a substantial reading deficiency. Prior to this year, it was district-based criteria that we had developed in-house. With the changes that we see this year for students in grades K through 2, it's taking a look at their PM data for fast progress monitoring, and those students below the 10th percentile would have a substantial reading deficiency. And then when we look at 3rd grade, it would be the students below the 20th percentile that would qualify for these extra supports. In addition, this year they have removed that calculation for those lowest 300 schools based upon their reading data. Another change that we have seen is that there is a literacy micro-credential. In 2021, the state had allowed that all of our teachers who provide intensive interventions must be either reading endorsed or certified. But with this literacy micro-credential, it kind of opens things up a bit, in that it's through the University of Florida and through the Lassiter Center. There are some online modules that teachers can take, approximately 60 hours of coursework, and they estimate it takes about 4 months. And as teachers go through and receive this micro-credential, they're then able to provide those Tier 3 interventions to students as long as they are supervised. In this case, it's not supervised in an evaluatory sense. It's like in conjunction of working with somebody who has an endorsement or reading certificate. So in most cases, that would probably be your coach at each school, who would be somebody that would be helping you to plan and lead you accordingly. Historically, we've received an allocation associated with the reading plan. Last year it was for, as you can see there, over $3.8 million. With those funds, we are able to pay our literacy coaches. We have our summer learning camp for 3rd grade. Professional development in the area of literacy is also paid through there, as well as those licenses for some of those interventions and the materials that are used for them as well. At the heart of each of our schools, as they help support this plan, they have a literacy leadership team, which really consists of that administrator, coach, and those lead teachers at each school. And they meet regularly to kind of set the vision for what literacy instruction is at their school, and make those adjustments based upon when we receive progress monitoring and data to what those next steps will be. And of course, our team supports them in those endeavors. With the Just Read Florida coaching model that we have in schools, as I said before, it really promotes the idea of our coaches being those in-house literacy experts. Our team supports them in that endeavor, and they're there to model those strategies, have those coaching cycles with teachers, and really the idea is to limit the time spent on those administrative functions. An interesting kind of new development that we've seen in the last year or so is that the state has a literacy coaching endorsement that you'll find that some of our coaches are beginning to go through and receive. It's something that can be added to their certificate. We have a few people in our team that have received it. There's two versions of it. One is from FSU through FCRR, and there's another one through UF Lassinger Center. The Lassinger Center has kind of opened things up, and that you'll find more of our coaches. I was able to invite, coaches across our schools K through 12 to join that if they so desire. So you might hear more of that as you're out. When we look at our protocols for the decision tree, we have our different levels of instruction. That tier 1 instruction is what every student receives. It's that grade level content in this area. In this case, it's in the area of ELA, exposing them to their benchmarks and allowing them to work with that grade level material. But as we take a look at the progress monitoring data that we get from the state through FAST, or that we receive through other mechanisms such as iReady, and classroom feedback, of course, from the teachers, if students are continuously struggling, then we would provide them with a tier 2 intervention. After giving that some time, if students are struggling or if they're found to be, having a substantial reading deficiency, they would be placed at tier 3 and having even more intensive supports. So what that might look like at the elementary level, I have a few of them that are listed there. The first one being SIPS, or Systematic Instruction in Phonological Awareness, Phonics and Sight Words. That would be applicable to our students that are really struggling in some of those foundational areas that we talked about before. Also, students that might have dyslexia would also benefit from that explicit instruction. And we're going to have some upcoming trainings on that this summer. And additionally, we have level literacy intervention for our students, and that's something that we've had continuous professional development in the last few years to continue to cycle through and make sure as we have new teachers that's available to them. When we look at things at the secondary level for grades 6 through 12, some of the data that we look at there would be our FAST progress monitoring, as well as the benchmark assessments that we have for students on a quarterly basis. When we are thinking about where they would go, of course, every student's going to have that core ELA class where they receive that grade level instruction, but it might also be appropriate to them, depending upon their needs, to maybe have some extra support in what we call a CAR PT class, which is content area reading, which basically means that we have teachers who've had some training of embedding those reading strategies into their content classes to give that extra level support to students that might be having difficulties in reading. And then there are also intensive reading classes, which might key in on those foundational areas or on comprehension, depending upon the student's needs. So for tier 1, for our secondary students, they use StudySync as their adopted instructional material. And then, as I said before, CAR PD could be something that we have at either 6, our middle school or high school. iReady is used mostly with our middle school students as another support, as well as phonics for reading. And then when we look at high school, it might be Achieve. And Achieve does have components of it as well that in what's called Word Studio that address some of those foundational skills in a way that's respectful to students of that age group. Each year, for the last couple of years, the state has provided us with a reflection tool. And so usually in the spring, we send this out to district level administrators that work in the area of literacy, as well as our administrators at the schools, coaches, and teachers fill it out. And then we receive that feedback from them. We take that feedback we write a reflection, and then the reflection is submitted to the state, and then from that reflection, we make adjustments to the reading plan for the next year. So our next steps as we look forward to the next few months would be really coming forward on June 6th. As Dr. Wesson said before, we'll be requesting board approval of this year's reading plan, and then from there we'll submit it to Just Read Florida. Schools will be working on placements for students based upon state assessments and their local data that they have throughout the summer. And then we will have professional learning for our teachers, and then we'll just have that ongoing cycle of monitoring and support for our schools throughout the following year. That, I thank you for your attention.
Board members, any questions? Member Davis? Member Garrick?
Well, I wanted to say thank you so much for addressing dyslexia. That is something that I'm hearing quite a bit from parents that feel that their children aren't getting the support they need. Very thorough presentation. I am also wondering, how do we foster the home school connection so that we can empower parents to be part of the education team, to take some of these strategies and tools and make sure that our kids have the strongest foundation, especially in literacy?
I think I was on a call just this afternoon, in fact, with New World's Reading Initiative, and they are continuing to evolve and have new resources available. So I think that kind of partnering with our schools to advertise that with them, and that those resources are available. They have videos, they have bookmarks for parents, they have pamphlets that go with the books that tell you exactly how to kind of walk students through those things. So I think that immediately comes to mind as a good resource that's continuing to grow, and we can continue to grow with it.
Thank you.
Additionally, one of the pieces we added to the SCPS website last year was, if you go to the Parents tab, there's the first two links are how do I help my child in ELA and how do I help my child in math. And so those have some strategies and links for materials for parents to use at home with their students in those subject areas.
Thank you.
Vice Chair Sanchez?
First of all, thank you so much for your presentation. It was extremely thorough. And like Member Garrick said, I was pleasantly surprised and happy, elated that dyslexia is on there. I'm still confused of why it's considered a medical diagnosis, and I know that that's something that I would still like to understand more about, and why a lot of times it's not written in the IEPs, but yet maybe other health conditions are allowed to be in there. So training our teachers, I know when I graduated FSU in education, we didn't have any training in it, and it's critical piece that we understand from the top down. Along with the literacy coaches, I commend you all for organizing all these wonderful programs, and there's so many things that are going on this summer that I can't see one teacher not having something to do or want to possibly do, because we are offering so many great programs, but also offering some money attached to it where they can make extra dollars and put it in their pockets, which is really beneficial. With the separate, so I saw that it said the school leadership team, and I noticed the word media specialist, and I'm like, I'm all for media specialists. I would love every school to have it, but I know that's allocated by each school. So was that just in there for an example?
It was copied as Just Read Florida kind of defines key members that could be part of the team. So
Okay.
I was using their wording in that.
Okay, because I was hoping that maybe wishful thinking, because I believe a media specialist for every school. And then endorsements. So here comes a touchy subject where we have the state allowing students to pick and choose private schools, homeschools, so on and so forth, la da da. No accountability, no assessments, but yet public schools have to make sure that their teachers have their reading endorsements and have to have their ESE endorsements, their mental health awareness endorsements, you name it. And each one of those costs how much money per teacher? $75, am I correct?
Added
So
to your certificate, yes.
about $75 for each certification?
Yes, to add a subject to your certificate. It's
Right.
$75.
So that is a lot of money that, comparing apples to oranges, I just want people to hear that our teachers are having to pay extra money where they don't even have money, because the money that we're all getting from the state is not really there as much as I would like it to be. So keep in mind, everybody, how much extra dollars this is costing each of our teachers to make sure that they have all these extra endorsements when other schools don't require it. Or should I say the legislators aren't allowing or not requiring it for them. So kudos to the public schools. I'm 100% behind everything the public schools do. I'm a public school advocate, and I always will be. I just wish people up in Tallahassee and other people would start to listen and hear. So thank you.
Member Pennick.
I just want to say thank you. I know what you presented is just the tip of the iceberg of what you guys do inside and outside of the county building with all of the events, all of the support. So I appreciate you greatly and a great presentation.
And I too thank you for the presentation. I was excited when I got the deck sent to us and really appreciate that not only your efforts but all that we're investigating for future. Thank you. Okay, it's now time for any board member comments. And again, I ask, please be succinct as you can. We'll start with Member Davis.
I don't have any comments at this time.
Thank you. Member Garrick.
Well, 'tis the season for celebrations and graduations, so I wanted to talk about a couple of events that were the highlight of my last couple of weeks. One was to attend the scholarships given out by the Rotary Club of Seminole County. These were phenomenal stories of students that have overcome extreme diversity or extreme hardship in order to graduate. So it was great to see the Rotary Club support them with scholarships. Many are going to Seminole State. There are some pursuing further education in at other institutions, but we really appreciate our partnership with the Rotary Club of Seminole. Still on scholarships, I'd like to say a special thank you to the foundation, Take Stock in Children mentor program. Again, students paired with mentors are walked through, handheld, sometimes pushed, as some of our mentors on the dais will attest to. And these students have bright futures. One of our students was it was just announced just prior to the celebration that she will be heading off to her dream school of Vanderbilt. So that was huge news and great kudos to her. And then on a personal note, I wanted to say thank you so much to SCPS. I am the mother of 3, and my youngest daughter will be the first to graduate in our Garrick family of 5 with her master's degree. And she is the second youngest of all the cousins. She's also the first in that big old batch to get a master's degree. So congratulations to my youngest, Bryn Rio. And the reason why I bring that up tonight is because this is Teacher and Staff Appreciation Week. And the reason why my daughter was able to meet her goals is because of the strong foundation that she built in Seminole County. She was able to do 6 years worth of work in just 4 years because she came in with an excellent foundation. So thank you very much. And when you're looking for a meaningful degree, SCPS is the place. Start looking into what's your E, whether it is meaningful employment directly out of high school, whether it is enlistment in a service, in the services, or whether it's education.
Thank you so much. Vice Chair Sanchez.
First, I wanted to share that there are so many different events. We're not going to be able to cover all the different things that we've all been to, but we have seen some great celebrations and great things going on. First, I want to mention that we had our first ever autism walk that Member Pennick and I were able to attend. Oh, and Member Garrick, we were able to attend an all-inclusion walk. We had our FIN department there, we had our ESE department there, and I couldn't thank them enough for dedicating their day on a Saturday to help and navigate through everything that they did, so I appreciate that. A lot of music festivals, different events, the jazz festival with a lot of our schools in Longwood. It took place at Ryder Park. A lot of high schools and middle schools performed, as well as the band directors also performed. Sweet Brantley Jazz, the spring concert, those were always phenomenal. We have Latinos in Action tomorrow night, a celebration here, and then the following week I have one at Lake Brantley. It Takes a Village, Empower Breakfast was amazing, like it always is, and if any of you don't know what it is, it's a supportive home that helps preventive programs for the homeless and then all those in need for mental health as well. So changing lives by protecting, counseling, teaching, and inspiring individuals and families to reach their full potential. So if you haven't heard about It Takes a Village or the Village Empower program, please go ahead and check it out. It's right off of Ronald Reagan Road and Longwood, and the breakfast was phenomenal. Another thing, I know that we had an opportunity for us to celebrate our donors appreciation with the foundation, so thank you. All the donors that are out there that have been there to help us, and then afterwards left a little earlier to celebrate, was it 4 or 5 graduates? 4 graduates from Endeavor, and they were so excited and see their faces glowing and the families there celebrating them. So that was a great evening. Take Stock in Children celebration. Our children that are receiving foundation money from the Take Stock in Children program and the mentors. We always need mentors for these students. So if you are willing to be a mentor, contact our foundation because we need you and these students need you. And then, like I said, there's so much going on. We have the Hindu Society, Teacher Appreciation. I know Superintendent Beeman and I will be going to that, the Guru Vandana Teacher Appreciation event on Saturday. Yes. On Saturday. That will be an amazing event, like always. And it's important for you all to remember that your voices need to be heard and listened to. But I wanted just to say something about what a teacher is and how important it is for all teachers out there, not just the ones in the classroom, but anybody in this that fits this definition, and that's pretty much all of us. Teacher, one whose occupation is to instruct. Number 2, one who believes in you and your future. 3, one who cares about your mental, social, emotional, intellectual, and physical well-being. Synonyms, of course, would be educator, mentor, coach, guide, advocate, tutor, counselor, supporter, helper, and believer. That's a lot. So each of us should be appreciative of each and every one of you. So thank you for everything you do. Thank you to our phenomenal teachers. Each and every day what you do, kudos to you. I know you guys are stressed, and I feel it. Wishing you the best. And that's it.
Thank you so much. Member Pennick.
In addition to some of my school visits, some of the clubs that I visited just had wonderful celebrations. I just want to say congratulations to the mini sports team who have taken district titles, state titles. We have kids out there that are just having the time of their life and enjoying the rewards of all of their dedication. It's wonderful to see the happiness of all of these sports, and the kids getting out there enjoying it, and the coaches as well. This month is truly, I think, one of my favorite months with graduations, watching all of these kids reach their potential. And so kudos to everyone not in sports, but walking across the stage, because you have achieved what you have worked your whole life for. So I look forward to seeing you all at graduation.
Thank you. And I echo the sentiments. My 4 kids truly benefited from the foundational beginning here at SCPS, and it's due to the outstanding faculty, staff, and the vision that you all have and have projected and given opportunities for our kiddos. Tons of events, sporting awards, Hall of Fame awards. There's just so many things that we're all going to. This truly is the best time to see the shining stars, and I can't let this go without thanking all of our teachers and support staff for getting our kids where they need to go. We truly appreciate you. Thank you. Those are my comments. It is now time for the public comments relating to agenda items. Member Sanchez, if you would read the information.
Sure. Policy 0169.1, public participation at board meetings. The purpose of public participation segments of the board meeting is to allow the public to address matters within the board's jurisdiction and not to resolve individual grievances or disputes. Public comments related to education, the board agenda, and the district are welcome and encouraged, but public comment segments are not forums to engage in personal attacks against the school system employees or board members. To maintain orderly conduct, the public comment segments of the meeting may not be used as open forums to discuss matters unrelated to education, to support or oppose candidates for public office, including presentation of political and or campaign issues, announcing candidacy or campaigning, or to engage in commercial speech, attempting to sell a service or product to the board or to the public. Nor are they forums to address matters involving disciplinary actions of any kind, pending claims, complaints, or litigations against the district or district personnel. Public comment segments durations are as follows. Agenda items are limited to 3 minutes. One group, a representative, may speak up to a maximum of 6 minutes if it's on that. Speaker must remain on topic for agenda item and non-agenda items are limited to 2 minutes. Speakers shall direct their comments only to the board and may not address the audience or other speakers. No speaker may yield his or her time to any other person. Generally, substitution of speakers will not be allowed. Thank you.
Thank you. Our first speaker is Nina Sandberg, followed by Dan Smith, please.
I'm Nina Sandberg. All SCPS students in grades K through 12 should be offered one academic field trip per year, with only exceptions for behavior problems and disabilities that will prevent certain students from participating. The individual schools and their administrations should not be allowed to simply opt their students out of all academic field trips at their whim. Entire grade levels should not be allowed to simply opt out of all field trips at their whim. But that is exactly what has been happening inside of SCPS. Basically, it's a crapshoot as to whether or not you get any field trip as an SCPS student according to the individual whims of your school's administration and its grade level coordinators. If you go to school A, you might get a field trip. But if you go to school B, you might get no field trips at all. That's not right. Apparently, it also matters which high school you go to as to whether or not you will get prom as a junior inside of SCPS. That's not right either. All SCPS high schools should include juniors in prom activities. Should not matter which SCPS school you go to with regards to basic activities that should be happening at every school in the district. For example, all elementary schools and middle schools should have field day. All middle schools should have a fall dance and a spring dance. All juniors should be included in prom at all high schools. And all high schools and all schools should have a field trip once a year for each grade. School plays need to be brought back in elementary schools too, by the way. I'm not even seeing on-campus field trips. There have been no trips to the zoo, to the science center, to the theater, to Kennedy Space Center, Gatorland, or even SeaWorld for my own children. They get nothing at all because their schools do not care. There has been a lack of attention to this part of school life. My children receive much less from SCPS than I received as an SCPS student, and that's not right. You need to give SCPS kids their lives back after the pandemic, and that includes giving them back field trips and the regular school events. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Smith?
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Dan Smith. I am a teacher at Seminole County Public Schools, and presently I serve as the president for the Seminole Education Association, well, for 20 more days anyway, okay? So with any relief, and if you can hide your smiles, this is the last time I will address you. Is this it? I'd like to speak on the specific item 6E on the agenda item, which is the personnel recommendations. And historically, at this time of the year, we see the resignations and retirements and everything. I was a little shocked when I saw that we have 80 people at this time that have already committed to leaving. Usually, I went back and looked over the last 4 years. It's been anywhere from 25 to 40 at this time of the year, but it's already at 80, so I'm troubled thinking that it's likely going to double by the time we come back to school. Now, my concern also is the fact that when you take a look at the trend here, we've lost over 300 teachers this year, and I just realized last week that the district has non-reappointed another 142 of them. So the totals are coming up pretty high with this, and I'm hoping to curb this when we get through this and just get back to teacher retention, which I had spoken of, you know, a while ago before we went through the changes in public speaking. Now, I think you know that, or you may not know, the teachers are actually very, very easy to deal with. They don't really need much support or much help. What they need is a livable wage, and what they need is to be treated with respect in the workplace. And that's where we've had a little bit of a problem in the last couple of years. The wage, certainly, I'm not going to fault you. Well, I do fault you, but I don't understand the school board budget, so therefore, I will assume you're doing everything you can with that. But you can improve things to get the teacher retention just by having the respect in the workplace. The positive things. As it's Teacher Appreciation Week, it was very nice to hear the kind words and everything. But if we can just go beyond the words and let's get some action that go with these words, it's going to make a difference. I mean, just simple things like, if you will, the evaluation model that we have is a feedback-based, and our teachers are not getting any positive feedback. And we're an A district, okay? We have a high 90 graduation rate. Some of our teachers are doing good things, and if you just give them the positive feedback on these, you'd be surprised how far you're going to get with teacher retention. They're going to be begging to stay here. I mean, I came here in 2002, and I couldn't get anybody to speak to me. And I worked in Orange County for 1 year, and when, well, don't hold this against me, Connie Collins hired me in 2003, I was elated with this type of thing. And it was, for the next 10 years, it was just such a joy working here because just of all the positive that you were getting with everything. And that can be turned around again to get back with this, all right? Now, if the teacher effect doesn't help you, just keep in mind that you know that it's going to affect the students as well. We have many of our students who've had 2 and 3 teachers this year, and we can change that pretty easily. And if we do get what we'll call livable wage, and if we can get them to just be treated with respect in the workplace, you're going to have to pick of every good teacher in Central Florida that's going to be coming in here instead of the opposite, where we've got people leaving to go elsewhere for this. So thank you for allowing me to speak over these last 4 years and being able to work with the district. And, well, Thank you very much, and please work with President-elect Thomas Bugos to the best of your ability. Thank you very much for everything.
Thank you.
Order, please.
Mr. Smith, on behalf of the board, we thank you for your service to our teachers and our district. Thank you. That's all of the agenda item public speakers that I have. Member Sanchez pulled item L for separate consideration or additional information.
Hi. I was speaking to the superintendent about this, and also back and forth, one text back and forth with Dr. Wysong on it. So this action item is about professional development, cooperative learning workshop, the Kagan Professional Development, which I have absolutely no problem with, and I think it's wonderful. It's to help our new teachers as well as any veteran teacher. And it's 19 sessions for the district allocated $57,000 for trainer fees, and up to 19 sessions for $112,000, a total of $169,338. My question that I have as looking through this is, it's in the month of June when we are having, our massive summer school programs where we have numerous teachers that are teaching in these programs. And looking over the dates, there is no Saturday dates available. So I was told that there will be Saturday dates, so I pulled it because I went back and looked over what facilities are having it. And of course, these are primarily, Title I schools, or they don't necessarily have to be, they could be anywhere for anybody that needs this, but there isn't any Saturday schools, and if we're not going to be able to get the money back, and this is going to cost us $168,000. It opens up to a maximum of 75 people per workshop, and my understanding is it's workshop price per day. There's a total of 19 days. Am I correct in reading that?
There are 19. There's a maximum of 19 sessions.
Okay.
We would only run all 19 if all approximately 1,400 Title I teachers wanted to attend. If registration comes in lower, we'll consolidate those sessions, and we only pay for the sessions that are confirmed. So that $169,338 is a maximum authorization.
Okay. Because I had asked and I didn't get a response, and that's why I pulled it, because I was waiting for a response and I didn't get one. So I didn't know if it was rollover or if it's money that we just lose, and every bit of money we need. So I want to make sure that, this course is, not going to conflict with anybody. But you also said there's Saturday dates, but there isn't any Saturday dates.
So Vice Chair Sanchez, whatever doesn't get used here can continue into the fall because it's not use it or lose it money. It
Okay.
rolls over.
I asked that question. It is a
Saturday,
rollover.
there
Okay.
are Saturday sessions planned for the fall.
Okay, so it is a rollover.
Correct. We have not.
Perfect.
We have not had great interest in Saturday sessions in June.
I completely
historically,
understand that.
And so we'll do those in the fall.
I get that. That's why I asked if there's a rollover date. So I appreciate that. That's my clarification. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Superintendent, do you have a I'm sorry, Member Garrett.
Dr. Wysong, don't run away so quickly. Sorry. I wanted to ask you about the funding, just piggyback. If I recall from our conference, the funding does need to be used specifically, though, for professional development. I mean, the funding that is correct. Explain how the funding works and when we have to use it by, and if it's earmarked for special places. Thanks.
This funding is from Title I, so this is federal funds passing through the Department of Education and then to the districts. This funding doesn't have to specifically be used for professional development, but based on the needs assessment that was done, and that includes consultation with the assistant superintendents and feedback from the principals, this Kagan training was identified as an excellent use of that funding in order to keep these cooperative learning strategies refreshed. So if we end up not fully using the funds for this purpose, then we would go to kind of the next thing on the list, and then we would just file an amendment in Tallahassee to update our grant.
And how long will we have to use these specific funds to serve Title I schools?
The funds do roll from year to year, and obviously there's at a certain point you have to use that funding, but it's kind of, we make sure that that we're using the funding in the order that it comes in, so that we're never returning grant funds.
Perfect. Thank you. That no more
Thank you.
questions.
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Superintendent, do you have a recommendation?
Yes, that the consent agenda be approved as presented.
So
Okay,
moved.
Board. Thank you. Member Sanchez, is there a second? Member Pennick, is there any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Superintendent, do you have a recommendation regarding discipline hearings?
Yes, that the School Board of Seminole County approve the student disciplinary recommendation minutes from April 17, 2023, and April 24, 2023.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Kelly Davis, okay. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And any opposed? Motion passes. There's no unfinished business. There's no new business.
Yes.
I'm sorry, there is
Yes.
new business. Superintendent, do you have a recommendation?
Yes, I do, Chair. That the School Board of Seminole County adopt the instructional materials recommendations of the Social Studies Adoption Committee for African American History and authorize the superintendent to purchase the highest ranked committee choice.
So moved. Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Superintendent, do you have a report?
Yes, Chair, I do. There is a report that is included in the agenda that includes the instructional continuity plan. That's read-only. And I'd like to also start out by saying thank you to this board for making the concordant score a priority on your platform. Way back in the fall, you did that, and you continued to advocate for our students. And today, our governor signed into law the bill that authorizes our students to have additional opportunities. It's effective immediately, and that will mean that more students will graduate in this class of 2023. So I'd like to thank you all for your advocacy. It has paid off for all of our students. And I echo all of the sentiments in regards to our teachers. I'd like to thank every one of the 4,559 teachers that are working hard inside and outside of the classroom every day for our students. We appreciate you and we thank you. And we hope that you feel appreciated, particularly this week. And I will also say to our principals, test coordinators, and staff, because of some of the legislation that we were very thankful for, that means even more opportunities for testing. And our folks jumped right in and made sure that those opportunities are available for our students even before the law was signed into effect today. And so I want to thank all of you. I'm looking over at our Assessment and Accountability Office. I know that you all have been working overtime to make sure that our schools have what they need, and therefore our students have what they need to move forward. And then I look forward to graduation. Similar to Member Pennick, is one of the highlights of my year when we are standing on the stage, and our graduations start on Monday, the 15th, and almost 4,800 students or thereabout that we are going to have an opportunity to look into their eyes and see that they are ready to move forward into their future. So looking forward to it. And that's my report.
Thank you so much. Our future is bright. Next is your board committee updates for those assigned board meetings that you attend. Member Davis.
I just wanted to remind everyone that the committees will continue through the summer. They're year-round. If anyone wants to participate in a committee, please do so. It allows the community to get involved. There's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of cooperation amongst the community and various businesses to do the best for our kids. I don't have anything specific today, but again, I wanted to welcome you all to attend graduation. Even if you don't have a senior graduating, it's just such a good moment, and it'll show how much these kids have gone. Thank you.
Thank you. Member Garrick.
I was not able to attend the Business Advisory Board meeting. Thank you very much to Superintendent Wilski, who carried on soldierly without me. Instead, I was able to attend a presentation by the U.S. Secretary of Education at UCF, the President's House. Director Cardona, as well as the superintendent, and Christine Kraus, chair, and I were able to go, as well as some board members from Orange County, the superintendent from Orange County, and some of the head educators at UCF. And so it was really inspiring to hear from the very top of education in our country about where we're going as a people.
Thank you. Vice Chair Sanchez.
Sorry that I missed that, but we got that on our calendar last second. I already had prior engagements. My board committee updates, Allie's Hope, mental health, we are rocking and rolling. Thank you, Amy Elwood and Mike Rice and Missa Mills and everybody else that's sitting in and helping that roll out. I appreciate that. On that note, guys, please, anybody out there, everybody, check yourself, check out your friends, be there for people. The people that you least expect that are having any mental wellness issues, maybe the person that is smiling right next to you that you would never know. So it's extremely critical for you to always be there for your friends, your family, and to notice any signs, but there may not be any. The coalition meeting, the Central Florida School Board Coalition, I chaired that with for 14 school districts. We had our meeting yesterday. I appreciate the ones that were on the call. I know Christine, you were on, and I think Kelly, I saw your name pop up too, so I appreciate you guys being on the call. I first had our legislative advocate from FSBA speak, Dr. Danielle Thomas. She's been able to speak on the past 3 meetings. And thank you to my secretary over there, Grace Gonzalez, wave your hand, who takes massive amounts of notes for this long meeting that we have. And it went extremely well. Of course, we found out about House Bill 1537, knowing that it had already passed through the Senate and the House side, and knew that most likely it was going to get signed, so the concordance score was ready to roll with that. There are some decent things in some of the bills, but please look at all the different bills and really, dive into them and see what you see out there with that. On top of that, we also had a guest speaker, Dr. Cade Resnick, who used to be a teacher with Seminole County Public Schools, but he owns a mental health counseling service now, and he had the opportunity to share with us some graphics and bar graphs about signs and symptoms of mental well-being and education, what our numbers looked like before the pandemic, what they're looking like now, how many more students are, I think I did the 22nd activity a couple weeks ago, but how many more are out there that are possibly trying to take their lives? This is critical, guys. I really need everybody to pay close attention and make sure that you're there for any signs, depression, anxiety, behavior disorders, anything by any age. Remember the Speak Out hotline. Remember the 988 number. don't ever hesitate to call for help immediately. Okay, this is not something that can wait until tomorrow. If somebody says something to you, you see something, you say something, especially with summer rolling around, when people aren't paying attention as much. So please, I know our guidance counselors can't be there all the time, and so can somebody else that they might have been able to reach out to in the past might not have been there for them. So on those notes, I have my zoo board meeting tomorrow, so I'll give you my Central Florida Zoo board meeting tomorrow on that, and then I'm going to leave with the reading tips from Endeavor. A lot of schools are sending out information. Have your students write in logs, in daily writing journal. Share fun vocabulary words at the dinner table. Charade, pantomime them out. Read to your students or your children. Tape record yourself reading if you don't have time to sit down and read with them. Increase your vocabulary, put their vocabulary as well. Put words on the board. Stop laughing, Mr. Smith. I taught you both kids. I don't know if you're laughing at me. The vocabulary words, that's probably why, because we charade it out and pantomime those vocabulary words, because a child needs to see a word 144 times before they truly know it. So make sure that you are doing those games and everybody in the whole family is able to participate. Thank you.
Thank you. Member Pennick.
I haven't had any committee meetings. My next audit committee meeting is this Friday, and when that is done, I will send out the meetings as I did just this last time.
Thank you so much. We had the foundation, SCPS foundation meeting, the superintendent and I, and they had a breakout sessions where they, each of our departments, many of our departments that offer services were there to share what it is that they do within our district for the foundation. So it was very valuable. I would like to ask the superintendent to send thank you notes on our behalf to the delegation.
Absolutely.
For listening to us, especially regarding the concordient scores, and if you would do that, I would be very, very grateful for that.
Absolutely.
And my next mayors and managers is Tuesday during graduation, and I don't think I can offer an alternate, so I will get an update from Mayor Sladek is hosting, Oviedo's hosting, and bring it to you next time. Thank you all. Okay, we're now at public comment, non-agenda items. 2 minutes for each conversation, please. And when I call your name, I'll call 3 at a time if you don't mind lining up. Mr. Scott Sturgill, Nina Sandberg, and Stephen Cornea, please.
All right, let's go. Good evening, Chair Kraus, board members, and Superintendent Beeman. I'm here to speak about the safety of our children and that we're not putting in place the proper safety measures for our students to feel safe on campus. But our teachers don't feel safe either. Many teachers are leaving because discipline is not handled properly or consequences are inconsistent at each school and sometimes are handled differently with each student at the schools. Our teachers and employees should feel free to speak without retaliation. We need stricter student disciplinary standards with zero tolerance. Seems like every week this school system is making the news and not for the right reasons. We have students and teachers being assaulted every day, and I ask you, is it going to take someone being paralyzed or killed before you as a board take action? We need to teach our kids how it is going to be when they are adults and that they will be held accountable for their actions. There is no benefit to coddling our kids anymore. People move here for our schools. They move here for the quality of life, and they move here for our great economy. If we need more money for security, then let's find the money. I'm willing to offer my services to help you guys in any way possible to find the money because I want to keep our kids safe as a parent. Let's allow our school resource officers to develop relationships with our students, and maybe we can solve the problems that we're facing at the schools and head it off, but with a simple task. Again, I ask you for your guys' help. This is seriously important. I know many parents feel concerned. I get calls from parents every day and asking me to help deliver the message. Thank you.
Thank you. Nina Sandberg, Steve Cornea, followed by Raquel Molina.
I'm Nina Sandberg. You need to change the non-agenda public comments back to 3 minutes because 260 words is not enough words to explain any problem. Fix public comment now. Here is my daughter's science work from the lockdowns. It is A-quality science work that is the exact Florida 4th grade science curriculum and standards. My daughter was given an F for this work in Skyward, even though it is A work. I need my daughter's Skyward grade fixed already. It is a problem for parents that when their children are given incorrect records in Skyward, they can never get those records corrected ever. Obviously, this giant stack of work is not an F. This is my daughter's Go Math textbook and workbook work from the lockdowns. This is B to C quality math work, that is SCPS's actual Go Math textbook and workbook, along with supplemental math worksheets. My daughter was given an F for doing her own Go Math textbook and workbook during the lockdowns while SCPS was closed down and was locking her out of her school. No one will fix my daughter's Skyward grades. Obviously, this stack of math work is not an F. My daughter was penalized for doing her schoolwork on paper while SCPS locked her out of her school. SCPS forced me to be my daughter's teacher while SCPS completely abandoned her and closed down. My daughter was given an A in English and Social Studies for her written work and then was given an F in Science and Math for her written work, and no one will fix these incorrect Skyward grades ever. I need the grades to be fixed already. Thank you.
Thank you. Steve Cornea, Raquel Molina, followed by Jeff Siskind.
Good evening, board members, superintendent. My name is Stephen Cornea. As you may know, this is not just Teacher Appreciation Week, it is also Mental Health Awareness Month. As Seminole County Public Schools is a data-driven district, I'm going to give you some data. 84% of teachers in a March 2021 survey said teaching was more stressful than just 2 years before. 75% of teachers in a survey from the RAND Corporation reported that frequent job-related stress compared to 40% just 2 years before. 27% of teachers report suffering symptoms of depression. That's 270% greater than other adults. Depression is not just a mental health, it can lead to physical health as well. Depression has been linked to increased rate of chronic illnesses, diabetes, asthma, high blood pressure, cancer, heart disease, and going without saying, suicide are all consequences of depression. But it's not like this isn't known. In a survey by EdWeek, 7 out of 10 district leaders across the country when surveyed said that teachers' emotional, physical well-being was a high priority. Teachers, when given the same survey, said it was only 25% of a priority. When asked what they did, only 29% of district leaders who were given that survey said that they felt that their school or district had provided adequate mental health, and only 1/6 of the teachers taking the survey thought their districts had. Only 22% of teachers in the survey by We Are Teachers reported that they were getting emotional support, and only 6% were reporting they needed counseling. So what can be done? You have an insurance committee. Instruct them that they need to improve mental health care as part of the Seminole County Public Schools insurance system. The fact that our EAP allows only 3 visits while surrounding counties have 5 in Orange County and 6 in Volusia is ridiculous. Demand that Cigna fix this so you can help our teachers. Lastly, over 60% of teachers surveyed said that they were more likely to leave early, a 200% increase in just 2 years, and more than 20% were considering leaving before the end of a school year. The reason quoted is burnout. Dan Smith told you that 300
your
teachers
time
have
has
left this year.
expired.
I'm going to keep talking. I want to finish. Dan
Sir,
Smith
your
told you
time
that
has
only
expired. If you would like to present your
81 teachers are
information
leaving this year.
to
Depression and mental health is a reason.
to the clerk, thank you.
Raquel Molina, followed by Jeff Siskind, followed by Ursula Castillo.
Greetings to you all. Happy Teacher Appreciation Week to all the great, caring, ethical teachers out there, but an extra special shout out to Miss Olabush and Miss Phelps in the ESC department at Winter Springs High School. These two teachers and many others that I know are advocating for all kids, including special needs kids. They advocate for all kids, even for the ones that have no voice like my daughter. My daughter graduated from Winter Springs High School. After that, I have been advocating for all the special needs children in Seminole County. And I still see issues in IEP meetings that shouldn't occur, should not occur. If we don't trust administrators, leadership, who are we to trust with our kids? Thank you, Abby, for saying, if you see something, say something. That's true. If you see something, say something. I didn't see, but Emily went through a lot. Well, I'm not gonna get into details because you guys are familiar with it. But what we went through and what I saw, I did share that with administrators. But unfortunately, administrators are not trustworthy. Please, please, administrators, leadership in this county, practice what you preach. You guys are lying. A-rated school district? Not anymore. That was years ago. What is going on in this school district? Fix it, please.
Dr. Siskin, followed by Ursula Castile, followed by H. Alexander Duncan. Good evening.
I've attended 3 work sessions in the past several months, some general observations, and then I want to relate it to today's discussion, which I listened to. You're obviously very committed, very conscientious. I know you work tirelessly. I think I could commend you up to the yin-yang. But on the other hand, I will tell you, you know the old adage, sometimes you can't see the forest for the trees. I hear a lot of tree talk at those work sessions for me. I'd like a little more focus sometimes on the forest. And I guess that's the way I felt about today's discussion, the part I listened to about the evaluation. Obviously, there's concerns about that. There were concerns expressed last fall when it was, the first observation of the new superintendent. There's concerns expressed today. It's obviously an imperfect document. I don't know what route you're going to take in terms of enhancing it. My concern is the way your contract and evaluation is tied together. Whatever happens by the score on that document can commit this board to 3 to 5 years in advance. And those commitments can involve over $200,000 annually. So I think you also need to look not only at the actual evaluation, but I think you need to look at the intertwined commitments, because I think those are some pretty heavy commitments. And I think you need to look at not only the commitments, do you want those commitments, but what's going to be the threshold for reaching any commitment. But that's the way it's written now. And you do have in the contract a provision that says, as you discussed today, 11 months in advance. So my personal suggestion, I wouldn't wait 2 years to move on that. When you have those type of commitments, I think you should be moving simultaneously at looking at the document, but also your commitments. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Siskin.
Good evening. My name is Ursula Castillo, parent of 2 kids in elementary school, Seminole County, and 1 going to middle school. Dear school board, neurodiversity is important for the world. Neurodiversity means differences on how the brain works. Some examples of neurodivergent humans are Albert Einstein, Elon Musk, Richard Branson, Bill Gates, all neurodivergent. We need these brains for the world to move forward. We have many neurodivergent kids attending regular classes in Seminole County. Examples of neurodivergent conditions are autism, kids on the spectrum, ADHD, dyslexia, to name a few. We need training education on neurodiversity for teachers, general staff, principals, vice principals, so those kids can have an opportunity to thrive in a school setting. Currently, only ESE personnel have probably trained in those conditions. If general personnel can have education on these different conditions of neurodivergent kids who have been diagnosed or not diagnosed, it will be much easier to identify the traits, support, and approach them differently. We need education on neurodiversity for students, so classmates can have more understanding and compassion of the differences of their peers, and bullying can be diminished. We need identification, authentication, and support for neurodivergent kids. Kids will live with those conditions for their whole life, and it's not necessarily a disability, but a difference on how the brain works. Acceptance and education on neurodiversity are important. Thank you.
Thank you. Ursula, would you be willing to leave your notes? Thank you. Thank you very much. H. Alexander Duncan, followed by Emery Green. Good evening.
I wanted to come and talk to you guys about Seminole County Ordinance 2005-41, dealing with sexual offenders and sexual predators. What I would like to see is that bus stops and recreation centers be added to the ordinance. What I would also like to see is you guys get with the sheriff office and the Board of County Commissioners, and I know you guys have a meeting because I talked to the commissioners today, coming up with that. Obviously, you guys know I've been pushing this for like 7 years, and one of the big issues is the congregation of sexual offenders in residential housing in the community of Midway. So during that meeting, I would definitely like that to be addressed, as the county commissioners have assured me it will be addressed. And what I would like to encourage the board to do is to stay on top of this and to take a leading role in this discussion with other members of our elected community. And I myself will stay on top of this, and I'll be following along with you guys. And I'm gonna wish you guys luck. I hope some of you guys don't take my style a little bit too hard, but it is what I do, and I'll continue to do it. And I'm just focused on this particular issue right now. Again, that's Seminole County Ordinance 2005-41, and we do understand that you guys do not write the ordinances, but you do have quite a bit of say and purview over student safety, whether on the bus, on campus, or whatnot, to Mr. Sturgill's comments. So this is really just an overall safety thing. And again, I would just like those things included. I would like you guys to work together, and I would like you guys to have it transparent and all that stuff. So thank you, and I appreciate the time.
Thank you. Mr. Green? Good evening.
Emery Green, Jr., Executive Director of the Midway Coalition. Let me first say thank you to the board for this opportunity to speak before you, to Superintendent Beeman, Chairman Kraus, and all the board members. I'm going to take this moment to speak to the audience.
Sir, please direct your comments to the board.
As well as the board. As well as the board. I'm going to address it together.
It's the board to focus on.
As a
sir.
parent, as someone, a resident, a lifelong resident who lives in Midway, 2 children who attend Midway Elementary School, as a graduate of Seminole High School, a proud product of the University of Central Florida, and the executive director of the Midway Coalition, I can tell you with the shadow of a doubt, we take ownership of our community. We invest in our community. If you name any other nonprofit organization that has raised over $100,000 and reinvested those resources in kind, monetary, back into the community, let me know. Many of you have attended our programs when it comes to relationships with our elementary school, our middle school. The principals call on us because we stand in the gap for the safety of our children, and we do the things necessary to ensure that everyone is safe, including our own children. We have full faith and confidence in this body. We do not stand here or anywhere else to spread propaganda or for any agenda. Our focus is for public service. And as I always say, I'm not hard to find. I live at 2240 Church Street, Sanford, Florida, in Midway, and feel free to contact me anytime if there's
Your
anything
time has
regarding
expired.
Midway.
Thank you.
you so much.
Mr. Green. Board members, do you have any final comments? Let's go in order. Member Davis?
Oh, I just wanted to thank everyone again, and I hope you have a good month in these last weeks. Stay strong. I know it's tough, but the end is near. Thank you.
Thank you.
I did want to make a request. As we move forward talking to the Sheriff's Department in the county regarding safety issues, specifically where bus stops are, can we get a study of any issues that we've had over the past 5 or 10 years, just to try to get an idea of what we have, what's working, what's not working? Is that possible?
Regarding the bus stops?
Regarding the bus stops, any complaints, any safety violations? We always want to make sure that our kids are absolutely safe, so I just want to know if we've had any, and of course, I guess.
Discussions.
I'm happy to pull that information and provide
Thank you.
it to you.
Thank you,
Yes,
Superintendent.
Vice Chair Sanchez, any final comments?
Yes, I know that back in 2016 or 17, we had an open board discussion as I brought that to the floor, where we had to discuss that. I do have a couple quick things that I wanted to say. One, I know, Amy, you had mentioned an audit committee. I'm not sure which audit committee, but I was also told by Chair Kraus that we are under 4 audits. Is that correct? And I don't know which, and I don't know anything about audits. I mean, like, what audits are we on? So I guess that would be to Superintendent Beeman. Apparently, we have 4 audits going on by DOE.
There's a number of, not all 4. I mean, we have our regular audit, we have an FTE audit, there's an ESSER, we're going through ESSER monitoring.
So any of these, are they all from, like, are they something that was requested by DOE, or are they requested by, just something that we do in-house?
Well, the ESSER is through, it's the federal, through the state, and then the others are the DOE.
So we do have 3 DOE ones that requested?
I believe that, yes.
If I could get a list of those, that would be great. I had no idea that we had any audits until the other day.
Well,
I knew that we have 1, but I didn't know that there were more.
Okay.
And then also, I just wanted to share that we had our open board discussion earlier today, and some of your comments and things that you discussed today were on our agenda. Those things are not recorded video-wise, but are recorded, so you can hear some of the different things, some being enabling our students with different, with Plato's Lab, or safety concerns, all kinds of different things that were on the agenda. So please feel free to, request that public copy of that tape if you want to hear any of the comments that were given at that given time. Thank you.
Member Pennick, any final comments? Okay, and I would just ask, Ms. Bonds, could you speak with Mr. Cornea regarding he talked about the number of mental health services that are available with the benefits. Thank you very much. Mr. Cornea, I wish you the best in your future. Thank you for your service to our kiddos. Thank you again, teachers. Have a great evening. This meeting stands adjourned.